I have a question for my NBA fans. Who is the most disappointing team through 3 weeks of basketball? We have our NBA Week 3 power rankings, our top 10 teams after 3 weeks of basketball. We have witnessed some absolutely amazing basketball, ladies and gentlemen, starting with my personal most disappointing, down bad team of the week, the Dallas Mavericks. And I feel bad for Cooper Flagg. The man is, 18, 19 years old. Throwing him in the NBA at point guard off rip was potentially one of the worst coaching decisions we have ever seen. Should have had D'Angelo Russell in at the one off rip. Probably should have had Klay Thompson on the bench off rip. You already got Anthony Davis hurt. Kyrie Irving is out. This team is just... Can you remember this team had Luka the Don? Where do you think this team would be right now with Luka Doncic? Could you imagine Luka Doncic on the Dallas Mavericks? It would be absolutely insane. The Dallas Mavericks are our down bad team of the week. Getting into our top 10 at number 10, we have the Houston Rockets, a physical basketball team, really still trying to find their identity though, trying to mesh well with KD, trying to get Sangoon going, and we saw them get a very dominant victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, who we will talk about in a little bit, who is not a slouch at all, but that is a big win for the Houston Rockets. Sangoon still trying to find his ways to take over, and Amin Thompson has to continue to develop and progress his game on both sides of the ball. The sky is the limit for this man. He is a physical freak athlete. If he can get it down on both sides of the ball, he could potentially be one of the best two-way players of this current generation. At number 8, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. I told y'all we weren't going to go too far. And you're going to ask, why do you not have the Rockets over the Bucks? They just beat them. The Bucks are like, to me, the Buffalo Bills of the NFL. You know what I'm talking about? They're the Buffalo Bills of the NBA. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, a freak of nature, an absolute stud athlete, one of the best athletes we have ever seen in a game. But he is surrounded by absolute dog shit. Not dog shit. I won't put it like that. They're just not a great team around him. You can tell the nights where Giannis Antetokounmpo is off, where he doesn't have many nights like that, the team is going to suffer. The team is going to hurt, and the team is probably going to go out there and lose because there's no one out there really able to pick up the slack. The trade for Miles Turner is still baffling to me. I don't think he brings a lot to the table. I actually really don't think he brought a lot to the table for the Indiana Pacers, especially in the playoffs. Terrible down the stretch, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But the Milwaukee Bucks, off the big back, and I'll say this for Josh Allen every week, of big Giannis Antetokounmpo, find a way to get it done. This man is an absolute Greek freak of nature, and he can get to the rack and score at will, and he can create contact and get the free throws he needs. One of the best hoopers in the league currently. At number 8, the Chicago Bulls. When I tell you, the Chicago Bulls are absolutely hooping. They're quietly hooping. Josh Giddey is almost averaging a triple-double, right? 21, 9, and 9. And you got 35-year-old Vucevic averaging a double-double. That is massive for this team. A team that in nature is a really young, solid squad. They're still trying to get it going. It's great seeing the Chicago Bulls be good again. It's always fun watching a Chicago Bulls team be great. And they're really finding pieces and developing players and what they need them to be. The Chicago Bulls are a force. They're going to continue to be a force. And off the back of Josh Giddey, 23, 24 years old, correct me in the comments, a very young player who was sent away from OKC. We see a lot of guys, when they get sent away from a team, their development just skyrockets. Example, SGA, great player on the Clippers. The Clippers thought they didn't need him, sent him to OKC, turns into a dog. OKC thought they didn't need Josh Giddey. In the end, they really didn't. He really didn't fit their identity. They send him over to the Bulls, and he's developing into an absolute dog. Josh Giddey averaging 21, 9, and 9. Vucevic averaging a double-double, and everyone seamlessly falling in line around him. All these 20-year-old guys, young 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old guys, finding their lane in the NBA and producing for the Chicago Bulls. You love to see it. At number 7, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell is scoring at will. They told a funny story last week. I forgot who he dropped 50 on. He dropped 50 on someone. He was playing 2K the other night, and some kid said, I ain't seen any highlights from you this year. And he was like, oh, he took that to heart. And he went out there, and he gave some poor team absolute belt to ass. Some guys, full highlight reels of a season in one game. Just going to put it like that. If you didn't watch the highlights from that game, you're missing out. Donovan Mitchell scoring at will. You got 7 guys in double-digit scoring. Evan Mobley is playing absolute amazing basketball right now. And this is one of those teams, if you could get everyone healthy, you just got to get everyone healthy. They can make a run at a championship. At number 6, we have the New York Knicks. Brunson continues to lead the team with poise, one of the best finishers in the league, one of the best clutch guys in the league. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, last year, won most clutch player in the league. What he can do in the game and at the end of the game, he knows when he needs to score. He knows when he needs to dish the ball out. And then Big Bodega Cat taking over the New York Knicks. You love to see Big Bodega Cat out here absolutely hooping. It's fun basketball the New York Knicks are playing right now. It is fun. You know how I said it's fun to watch the Bulls be good again? It is fun to watch the Knicks be good. They are a scoring, dynamic team. You got OG over there. You got Big Bodega Cat. You got Jalen Brunson. You got guys that can score at will. And they really are underrated on defense. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns' defense is pretty solid. You got guys in there you rotate on defense. The Knicks have an opportunity right now, as I said about the Cavs. If they can get healthy and stay healthy, they can go out here and compete for a championship. At number 5, a team we really didn't think we would see here, the Detroit Pistons. And the Pistons, the biggest surprise of 2025, even though I don't think they should be. Why? Because they were competing in the playoffs last year. They were a team that got in, and they were giving teams, I think, who was it they gave problems with, the Knicks or the Cavs, took them to 7 games, playing them physical, and drained that team for later playoff runs. The Detroit Pistons, the way they're playing ball right now, one of the youngest teams in the league, they're playing physical. They are physically willing teams to bow down before them and winning games. And when I tell you what Jalen Duren is doing, rebounding and rim running like a demon. The Detroit Pistons, it is amazing watching the level of basketball they're playing right now. You don't see a lot of teams play physical anymore because it's so draining down the season. And I think that's my problem. How long can they keep this pace of basketball going? At number 4, the Denver Nuggets. Now, I don't know if any of y'all saw the no-look pass Joker threw last week, but that puts Nikola Jokic into perspective of how amazing of a basketball player he is, and how I was talking highly of Giannis Antetokounmpo. This team thrives off the back of Nikola Jokic, but what I want to point out is Aaron Gordon, putting on massive performances in the playoffs last season, did fall short, is carrying that into this season. The starting 5 of the Denver Nuggets is looking absolutely ridiculously elite. You got Jamal Murray out there hooping. You got Aaron Gordon out there hooping. You got Jokic out there hooping. Braun's an absolute dog. They just got to find the depth, and they got to find the depth consistency of this team to actually keep competing in one of the hardest conferences in basketball. At number 3, the San Antonio Spurs. They did have an off week this week. They're going through a lot of injuries. They finally get De'Aaron Fox back. Wemby not playing his best basketball this past week, but still looked like absolutely insane basketball. When you get Fox back, when you get Wemby and him on the same page, when Harper comes back, that really was a big loss for the bench. It was bigger than I thought it was going to be. You get all these guys healthy. The San Antonio Spurs are an absolute elite team, and they are looking to, they started a few years after the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're looking to build that young core, not really trade for anyone crazy, keep their picks, build young guys up to build a championship dynasty, which we have seen the Spurs be before. At number 2, my LA Lakers. Luka the Dawn on an MVP run, potentially could average 40 points a game this year, which has not been heard of since Wilt Chamberlain, ladies and gentlemen. Luka is on that level, and he's going out here and he's toppling some of the best ballers in the league. Just this week, they put belt to ass to the San Antonio Spurs, and what we're seeing from the Lakers, they're learning. The coaching is immaculate, the way they attack the Spurs. the way they got Wemby into foul trouble, the way they got Barnes into foul trouble, how they were attacking the rim. Now, Luka, I believe, is a better scorer than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The problem is, Shai drives in and gets all those ticky-tack push-off fouls he gets. Luka drives in, he doesn't get the and one. He gets the bucket, he creates the contact, and the refs won't blow the whistle. Luka the Don is absolutely a better offensive player than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He creates the better points. Shai just gets the whistle. The Lakers are going to have a problem when LeBron comes back, when you have Austin Reeves healthy, when you have this whole team healthy. Say they go on this 5-game road stretch, they win 3 out of 4, they win 4 out of 5, or they win 3 out of 5, they win 4 out of 5. Bron comes back. Are you going to inject him in the starting lineup? I think if we could get Bron, and he's not going to do it, unfortunately, to come off the bench, this team could be ridiculous. Or if he goes out there and plays a point guard role and allows Luka to get in the offensive pick and roll and create space and get the shots off, Luka's three-point goes up, Luka's scoring goes up. Luka the Don is the heart and soul of this Lakers team. LeGoat LeBron James. It's time to take a step aside. There is a new king in town, and his name is Luka Doncic at number 1, the reigning, defending Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai is going to be Shai, one of the best scorers in the league, if not the best scorer in the league. You can argue with Luka Doncic. Like I said, the way this man drives in the lane, uses his shoulder to create space, push off, not push off, I don't know. I'll let you decide. You be the deciding factor in that. Gets the calls, makes the buckets, plays both sides of the ball, and one of the youngest teams in the league. And what Chet Holmgren is doing, I think, is getting overlooked. This man is averaging 19 and 8 and is a top defender in this league. This team is the new standard. This is not the rebuilding team anymore. This is the new standard for NBA teams. Go and draft good, create dogs, be young, and create an absolute dynasty. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our Week 10 power scale. We have our Week 3 recap. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We have the Rockets, Bucks, Bulls, Cavs, Knicks, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pistons, Nuggets, Spurs, my LA Lakers, and last but not least, the reigning, defending Oklahoma City Thunder. If you think there's someone too high, if you think there's someone too low, if you think there's someone that should be in, should be out, let us know down in the comments. Let us know your most overrated team through 3 weeks of basketball. Who do you think was going to be good coming into this year and are just not performing? Don't forget, like and subscribe.